Good morning. I'm Jen Haston, and this is Haston Helping Hands. Today, on this episode, I'm going to talk to you about the importance of letting someone do something, asking them to do something, yet not necessarily telling them exactly how to do it. What do I mean? Well, I've talked a little bit here and there about my checkered childhood and the things that I experienced in my childhood that made things difficult. Today, I'm going to talk about something that's great about my childhood. So when I turned 14, I met someone who would wind up being very important to me, and in my family of choice, she actually became my mother. And one of the things that I really have always noticed about this person, and her name is Jonellen Young, is that she has never, ever once said, hey, do you know how to do this? She's always, from the get-go, said, here, paint this shoe. What do I mean by that? Well, my mom is a very crafty person, and she sewed a ton of things, including my wedding dress. I was her 37th wedding dress. And she also did a million crafts, doll dresses and things like that. And she still does a lot of those things, just a lot slower now as age has creeped in. One of the things about her that I have marked is whenever I was first becoming friends with her, when I were hanging out at her house, and she handed me this doll shoe, and she said, here, paint this. And this was important because in my life up to that point, I think I was about 14, no one had ever said, hey, here, do this. They had told me over and over again how to do something. They had said, take this shoe, take that paint, and then make sure that you paint just all the sides, make it even, etc., etc. But this was important because she never told me how to do it. She just said, here, do this. And I can look back at several times in my life where that has been something she has said to me about other things. Like whenever she told me that I could do something, was really struggling with the math portion when I was in college the first time. And I said, this is really, really hard. And I remember her saying, it's not hard. It's something that you need help with, but it doesn't mean that it's hard. So if you take that out of your equation and you think about it like it's just like the things that you really like to do. So at the time I was really into movies. And so she had me, look at the different things about movies that I liked. So the things about movies that you like, they have to stay on time and under budget. That's numbers. And then later, another teacher came along who would inject entertainment and movies into a math class. And it wasn't just for me. I'm sure he was working on that for other people in the class, but it always kind of helped me. And I was struck by that yesterday when my child, who is 4, I've gotten so used to saying she's 4, she's closer to 5 now. In about 3 months, she's going to be 5 years old. And I was struck by that yesterday because I started to do something for her that I've done over and over and over again. And I went, wait a second, she knows how to do this. I've seen her do it with other people. So she actually put the little individual quiches on a cookie sheet to put into the oven. And she made her lunch yesterday, and she did a bunch of stuff that, we've taught her how to do, but we haven't really given her the space to do. So I was just thinking about the fact that, my mom, a very long time ago, handed me a shoe and said, here, paint this. And didn't give me any instructions, didn't say, this is how you paint it, or make sure that when you paint it, it's even on this side. Because it built confidence in me that I absolutely knew how to do that. And I'm doing my best to instill that in my daughter. And I'm also thinking about all the different people in my life who in one way or another have said, here, paint this shoe. So the point of today's message is that if you ask people to do things, try your best not to instruct them, but actually ask them to do something and then let them figure it out. And there's just so much more power in that, because I see that look that my daughter gets on her face when she figures something out. Like she'll have a hard time opening a snack pack or a Tupperware container to feed our dog, and I'll see her get consternated. And then whenever she figures it out, and I'm always available to help. I think that's important too. Like my mom is always available to help and I'm always available to help. It's just a question of, I'm going to give you this task. I'm going to let you figure out how to do it. I'm always here if you need help, but like all of that is given in paint this shoe. And it's palpable because I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember what I was wearing. I remember how I was feeling. And I think most of our formative memories are like that. So the message today is to ask for what you want. Be available to help. Remember that the person you're giving it to has a completely different idea about how that might go. So think about that as you're going through your day. If you're not a parent, another way to apply it is if you have direct reports. I know that some of the best bosses I've had did that. They asked me to do something and then they got out of my way. And I have that great boss now. And it's one of those things where you just kind of take it for granted until you look at it and you go, yeah, that is something that really helps me get motivated and work hard. So with that in mind, this week, this month, as you're walking through the day and you have a task, hand it to somebody and remember, here, paint this shoe. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my message for the day. I am Jen Haston, and this has been Haston Helping Hands.